TV brought to you by Stealth Productions. I'm Sarah, your host, and I'll be introducing you to an individual who many of you may have already seen on your TV screens, depending on the part of the country that you reside in. She is a news reporter and author with a red-hot, bubbly personality, and she is much more than that, which we're about to find out. She's a news reporter who always gets her story. She's in the Stealth Production Studios, and she's no other than New York's own Jennifer Bisram. We're so delighted to have you on Exposed TV. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. You know, this is very different. I always say I'm always sitting on that side of the chair interviewing people, so forgive me, guys, if this is a little weird because I'm being interviewed, and I don't always get interviewed. So.
Right. And
so if I jump in, if you ask me a question, and I jump in and I try to like re-ask you the question, let me know who's interviewing and who's not, okay?
We'll do that. Now, leading up to your current career as a news reporter in Florida, Miami, Florida, you've also done numerous years work in New York in the broadcasting field. So how is it different or similar reporting in Miami versus New York?
Oh God, I would say everywhere you work is different, especially in journalism. The rule of thumb for every journalist, and they can probably attest to this, is that every day is different on the job, every place you go, and you're technically going to a new place every single day on the job. How is it different? I worked in New York for many years, and I also did print for a while. I wrote for newspapers, magazines, and then I transitioned into television. You know, Miami's a fast market. New York's a fast market. I also work in the Orlando market. A little bit slower. Everywhere, though, it's great because you get to meet different people, different cultures, different stories. Right. So, you know, the crime rates are different. You know, in Florida, you cover weather. It's a big deal out there. I mean, here you cover weather, but here it's like snowstorms. Right. There it's like heat waves and hurricanes and rain, and get your rain gear out all the time. And here people are like, you know, hoping it doesn't snow, like Sandy doesn't hit again. Right. But yeah, so it's different, but it's the same because your routine is the same every day. You go in and you never know what's going to happen, what the news of the day is going to be.
Which brings me to the stories that you gravitate to, being a reporter on the beat. Do you essentially go out with your producer, find those, or as part of your real prompts, individuals to send in those juicy bits as events occur? How do you essentially get the stories that you report? How do we get the stories?
Okay, so it depends on the day again. Sometimes you'll come in, before I even get to work, I have an email or I have a phone call, and they're like, this is what's happening. There's breaking news, there is a huge accident, or there is an elderly couple, God forbid, that was, you know, injured or shot or whatever. And you got to go, you know, because it's the news of the day, it's breaking. There'll be other times that, you know, viewers will send us things, and I always ask folks to always send me, because I will push very hard to try to get the stories on the air if it's something that's reportable. That being said, you always have to try to get both sides of the story. So if you say to me, Jennifer, this person has been bothering me, oh my God, and I want to help you, but I'm going to make sure I talk to the person that's bothering you first so I can get both sides of the story. So it really depends on the news of the day, the current events, because, you know, we can easily do like a national or international story. For example, something, you know, something really horrible is going on in Gaza. We have to do it. Right. You know, sometimes it's a slow news day, and so that's the days that the story pitches that reporters bring to the table will be more likely to get done, because there's not that much news, so we want some enterprising. So what do you guys have? Sometimes it's as simple as, hey, I'm driving down the street and I saw that sign, and, you know, it intrigued me for a good, bad reason. I'm going to find out more. So on my downtime, I will put in calls, try to find out about it, and sometimes it's what you see that turns into a story, or what you don't see, I should say.
Right. In your line of work, how often do you come across the West Indians, Guyanese specifically, in your day-to-day?
I love that question, and here's why. Because I feel like that's my goal every day. So people ask me why I got into this business. A, to help folks. And I talk about this a lot with you know, a lot of people that ask me. My parents are first-generation immigrants to this country, obviously from Guyana. And so I feel like we may not have all the doctors and the lawyers and the reporters and everything in the world yet, but give us some time. Yeah, we're getting there, you know. So I think when you know, our fellow West Indian folks see me on TV, they're like, oh my God, like she's one of us and she's there, you know, and she can tell my story now, you know. And so it's great because sometimes I don't even know where these viewers come from, but they'll find my email, they'll call up the station, and then, or they'll invite me to a cultural thing they've got going on to host. Or sometimes I'll see them on the street, and it's so funny, they'll just come up to me, and like, it's kind of weird sometimes, because you don't always know who they are, but they know who you are. And, but you know what, I love it, I embrace it. And so, every city that I've gone to so far, whether it's the New York, whether it's New Orlando, whether it's Miami, whether it's wherever I go next, you know, we all, you know, everybody, we're all people, we exist, you know, and it's nice when they come out. It really, really is. And you know what, again, they'll email, they'll come up to you sometimes in the grocery store, like, you know, it just really depends. But it's nice to see that. I really embrace it and love it and encourage it, you know.
Absolutely. And now we want to talk about the many, many hats that you wear. The most recent being you've become an author.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
The book is called For the First Day of School, Do You Want to Be My Friend?
Yes, yes.
Now, it's based on a true story about someone very near and dear to you.
My sister.
So tell us about your sister, the concept, and why you thought it would make for a fabulous children's book, because it is.
Thank you. So my sister is younger than I am, and so I remember her coming home the first day of school. So you think I've got personality. My sister's got it too. And so she came home the first day of school, and she goes, guess what I did to myself and my parents? She says, I went up to everybody, her name is Cheryl, and she went up to everybody saying, hi, my name is Cheryl, do you want to be my friend? Hi, my name is Cheryl, do you want to be my friend? And she kept doing that to everybody in her class. So when she came home that day, she had like everybody in the class were her friends. And so it's been a story that we have like joked about in our family for years. It's always been in my mind. I taught, I don't know if you know this, but when I was transitioning from print to television, I taught for 2 years here in New York City. And so I love working with children. I don't have any yet, but I love children. And everyone else's children around me.
Yes.
But, you know, I always, see, as a reporter, you get to talk to the audience every day. Your audiences are not really children. They're teenagers. They are adults, moms and dads, et cetera, et cetera. They're not really children, not all the time.
Right.
So I always tried to figure out a way, how am I going to reach out to children? What's a good way to reach out to the children? Because they're not watching the news. They should not be watching the news many days, let me tell you. And so I always wanted to do a children's book. I always wanted to do it. And one day I was just sitting around, and it just came to me because, you know, going back to your question before about, you know, do I see a lot of West Indian folks in the different cities that I go to? I don't always see it sometimes. Obviously, New York City is a melting pot of the world, and so it appears that there are a lot of us here more than anywhere else. But it's just that we haven't gone to those other cities yet. Do you know what I mean? And so I remember first moving from New York City to Orlando. Extreme culture shock. People didn't know who I was, what I was. They're like, are you, you know, what's your ethnicity? What are you? You know, are you this? Are you that? And, you know, at first I used to be like, Mom, oh my God, you know, why don't they know where Guyana is?
Does that make your job easier, harder, or just another day at work enjoying what you do?
I wouldn't say it makes it harder or easier, honestly. It's just more rewarding when I can know that I'm attracting, you know, our culture to come in and watch the news, and I invite them to watch our news and to share their stories with me. But going back to the reason why I wrote the book is because I really wanted to, you know, let people know where Guyana is. What is Guyana? What makes it so beautiful? Now, we might not be the most beautiful beaches and islands in the world, that's fine, but we've got a lot of good stuff there too. And I think if people take time to learn about it, if it's on their radar, they will look into it and find out what it is. And that's kind of like my goal. I want to help put Guyana on the map. I'm not saying it's on the map. Don't get me wrong, people.
Well, it actually is on the map.
It is on the map. What I'm saying is I want to further put it out there and bring out like all the positives and, you know, continue to put it out there. Let it grow, you know, let it be one of those common countries that people talk about when they're having dialogues about, you know, different countries around the globe. That's all, you know.
And not just to be known as the Jim Jones.
You know, I didn't want to go there because I know that this is going to air, and I really was trying to get away from that.
No.
But it's important that you say that because that's the first thing
Everyone
that somebody says to me when I say Guyana. They're like, oh, that's the Kool-Aid, the Jim Jones. And I go, yeah, but it's also, did you ever, while you were reading about that, did you ever look at the other things about Guyana? And they say no. So with that, I decided to write this book. And I realized, you know, here's the main reason why. At the end of the day, we bleed the same, we cry the same, you know, we're the same. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where you're going. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you pray to. We all are the same. But we do come from different places around the globe that have something special to offer, if you will. And that's basically why I did this book. Guyana isn't there, yes. But there also, this little girl goes to school. Her mom tells her to make friends, and she goes and she says, hi, my name is Star, do you want to be my friend? To everybody, whether it's on the school bus or wherever it is, you know, in the classroom, lunchroom. She learns that every time she meets somebody, she's meeting somebody from a different part of the world. And then they're giving her a little nugget about that place. And at the end of the day, she ties it all together, saying the same thing that I just told you. We're all the same, but come from wonderful places with wonderful things to offer.
And how much you learn that way, right?
Yeah.
When you know firsthand about someone's culture.
You do. And so, you know, I feel like if you start from a young age, listen, sometimes we don't have the time to speak to our children and tell them exactly, this person is like this country is like this. Look, it's going to take somebody like at least 5 reads before they actually grasp everything. My parents learned stuff from this, you know. Adults learned stuff from this book. I learned a lot from this book. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just about teaching them things about different places at an early age.
Right.
And I feel like that can combat a lot of things. It can combat differences. You know, a lot of times children, it's not that we don't like each other. Sometimes we're just afraid because we don't understand each other.
Right.
But if we can understand each other from a young age and we grow into that through school, through college, through our careers, this is going to sound
a whole lot easier.
Yeah,
Very
this is going to sound like
generalized,
weird, but like, you know, it'll make the world a better place,
yeah,
you know?
It actually does.